we create some pretty cool glitchy sounds. This might be useful for another type of sound or bass, but we don't want that for this particular sound, so we're going to scale the modulation way back. We'll go for 9 right here. That's just enough modulation to make a little bit of a difference. Next, we're going to turn on a phaser. Let's set the rate to be down at 0 Hz, so we've got a totally static phaser we can control with our LFO instead of a BPM or a fixed rate. Let's also set the depth down to be at 0%, and the frequency can stay at 600 Hz. That should be pretty good. But we're going to go over to LFO2 again, and we'll throw that onto the frequency knob. And once again, we'll scale that modulation back quite a bit. It sounds pretty good at 18, right there. And with the phaser on 100% mix right here, it sounds like the sound's being played underwater, and that's not what we want. We want just a little bit of phaser. So once again, we're going to scale the mix back. 37% should be good. The next effect we're going to add on is going to be a filter. We're going to turn that on, and we'll set this to be after the phaser and before these other effects right here. And we're going to set this to be an HN12 to add some more modulation and some frequency sweeping to this sound. Let's go over to LFO1 and we'll drag this onto the cutoff. So we've got a little modulation curve like this. And I'm going to go over and we'll tweak this modulation to make it a little bit more subtle, because as it is, it's kind of a cool sound, but it's way too in your face and it's taking out too many frequencies. So we're going to scale that back. I think about 50 should be good, but it's still taking out too many frequencies and it's leaving the sound pretty dry. So we'll go over to the cutoff and we'll throw this down. We can probably go for about maybe 50 or 49 Hertz. That should be good. Let's also go over to the resonance and we'll boost this up a bit to give our frequency sweeping a little bit more presence. We can go for about 12% there. Let's also turn the drive up to give this sound a little bit more crunch. And now you can see and hear why we needed to turn the master down, because once you've got a lot of modulation, stuff just starts to get really loud. Let's also go back over to the drive. We'll take LFO1 and we'll throw that on there for just a little bit more modulation. And I can already tell that this is going to be way too loud. So let's take the modulation and scale that back a lot. I think we can go for about 21 right there. Let's go over to the filter. We're going to set this to be at 57%. And we're going to be doing even more frequency sweeping with this knob, just for a bit more modulation. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to take LFO1. We'll throw that onto the frequency knob. And let's push it back to do some backwards modulation. So just click and then drag backwards. And you can hear that we're getting even more modulation from this. We're starting to get a nice tone at about -40. -40 or -41. That sounds pretty good. The next effect we're going to throw on is going to be an EQ. We'll click on that, and then we'll drag it to be after the filter and before the compressor or the chorus. And the filter removed a lot of the high frequencies and left this bass sounding a little bit dull, so we're going to remedy that with this EQ. I'm only going to use this second EQ band right here. We're going to be using the little high boost right here. And I'm going to turn our gain up so we can start bringing the high end of this sound back.